Yaoyollohtli. Good evening, relatives. We are Mitotiliztli Yaoyollohtli, and we're a program of Mexica Nahuatl dancers, or Danza with the Dallas CAP program in the City of Arts and Culture. We're going to share with you a little bit of our culture, our dances, and our drumming, and explain a little bit of our regalia and some of our instruments. Because of the virus, of course, we're not able to be with you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk down and present to you what we're gonna do. All right. So what I want to do is introduce to you some of our group. In total, we have about 20 dancers, but today we're only gonna have my family. I want to introduce to you my lovely wife, Azucena Tempalzochi. This is my son, Jared Del Huica. This is my other son, Topilsi. This is my daughter, Destiny Tonansi. We're going to share some dances and music with you from our backyard. Hope you enjoy. guys enjoyed that one. That one is called Yaoyollotes, and I wanted to show you, if you look at our ankles, all the dancers have these rattles. These rattles are a type of pod shell, something similar to an acorn or a pecan. We empty out the meat inside, and sometimes we add little bearings. If you listen closely, it kind of gives it a water sound. Nice little water sound. We're calling the rain. A lot of our dances are to call in the rain and to give thanks to Mother Earth for all the nourishment and nutrients that she provides for us. So our next dance is going to be one that's dedicated to the dove. And of course, in all cultures, or not most cultures, the dove is a symbol of peace. In these difficult times, we'd like to offer this dance for all our relatives out there, all the people that have been afflicted and impacted by this virus. We're going to do this dove dance. Now, what I forgot to mention was at the very beginning, before we do any of our dances, we always invoke the 4 directions: the east, the south, the west, and the north. That's an all-encompassing universe. We're asking permission and blessings of all our relatives, all our ancestors, and the 4 sacred elements of life: the air, the earth, and the water and the fire. And so this is part of the reason why we do this dance. Okay? So that's what we did at the beginning with our conch shells. And we also have our smudge bowls here. We have different medicines, copal and cedar. Cedar was the type of medicine that was used mostly here in the north. And for us, whose culture tends to be more along the Mexico side, we use a copal, which is like a tree resin. It's like a pine. It's similar to the pine. If you feel the pine trees in the summertime, it'll feel kind of gooey. That's that sap that comes out. So we're gonna do our next dance. Alright, thank you, dancers. So what I wanted to share with you at this moment is some of our instruments that we use. I mentioned them earlier. We have the conch shell that we use to call each direction, and our ancestors in each direction. And of course, we saw the tip off here, and it has my 2 sons are the ones that use these instruments. And we primarily use it in the opening and in the closing of our dances. We're not a folklore group, we're a tribal ceremonial group. We don't do the whole ceremony for you guys. We'd be here for hours, about 3 or 4 hours at least to do the ceremonies. I also wanted to show you turtle shell. It's a percussion. So sometimes I'm not dancing today, my knee is hurt, but if I were dancing I would probably use the turtle shell as a percussion instrument, and it'll play any of the songs that we do. We also have our rattles. This is a type, and if you remember, these are the same pod shells that we use on our ankles. These are called yaoyollohtli, okay? Typically when we're at the libraries or at the rec center, we invite all our friends to come and join us in a friendship dance. And there we would teach you guys, you know, some of the steps of each dance. Unfortunately, we're not together, but what it is if you notice, there's a small dance before each main dance. And that small dance is the permission dance. But we also call it a friendship dance, and that's the dance that we tend to show to the public. It invokes the 4 directions and it has the spins that way. Well, you know, thanks again you guys for having us out. We're gonna close out by doing our next dance, and this one is called Chichimeca. Now the Chichimeca people were nomadic tribes people that were living near the frontier of Mexico and Texas. We like that dance. We like to close it out because it honors our relatives that were here in the United States, and particularly in Dallas before we were here. The Caddo, the Wichita, the Tonkawa, the Comanche. So we like to think that that dance is related to them, who were, my understanding, were also nomadic and lived in Dallas before it was Dallas. So we're going to share this dance with you guys, and then right after we finish, we're going to close out the same way we open up, with the incense, the 4 directions, the conch shells, and we'll say goodbye at that moment. Here we go. Thank you. the City of Dallas Arts and Culture. Thank you, Dallas Library. Thank you, Dallas citizens. We look forward to getting together again, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation here of our culture. Prayers and blessings to all of you and your relatives.